Good evening, my name is Garrett, and welcome to The Last Call. Tonight's final drink is Jim Beam Black Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, coming in at a 45% ABV, 7-year age statement. Now, I've seen this start popping up on the shelves online, and finally here in Indiana, it did. And the interesting thing, it seems like this is going to be replacing the current extra-aged version of Jim Beam, which is also called Jim Beam Black, but they're bringing a 7-year age statement to it, and still being budget friendly from what I can see. Really interesting play here, Jim Beam. Kind of just playing around with age statements. We've seen them more recently with the Knob Creek Rye, jump that up to a 7-year. But it's been a bit since I've had the extra aged version, but for this, I'm really excited to jump into it. Let's see how it goes. As always, we're gonna be trying it 2 different ways. First way, neat, no ice, no water. Second way, we'll add just a drop of water, see if anything changes up. Do like their bottle shapes, kind of that classic look to them. Do wish that, there it is. I thought it didn't have a pull tab on there. I was like, oh, well, that's kind of dumb. But it does. And as always, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hang around for a bit, become a member if you'd like. If you're interested in some other Jim Beam reviews, those will be linked up above and down below. I'll also be doing an A/B comparison between this and the extra age, just to see if there's a reason to pick up the extra age over this or whatnot. Beautiful dark color. Look at that. Yeah. I mean, it looks like a good, solid Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, if you ask me. Let's go for notes. Yeah, that's actually really got a good nose to it. Get a nice peachiness going on. Very peach forward. Almost like peach Snapple tea. So it's got like a sweet sugariness to it, but a peach Snapple. There's a bit of char in there. The oak vanilla caramel obviously are there as well. But that's got some character on the nose. I love that peach tea. And again, you're getting that bit of tea in there as well. Very orchard forward, but that darker extra chariness that's coming across from that age, I'm assuming. It's really nice. There's no ABV, nothing harsh, no off notes. You do get some of that Jim Beam nuttiness on there that a lot of people find. I tend to find it as well. But overall, that is even light. It's kind of been, I'm going to say, aged out of it, but really a solid nose. I like that. Let's go for a taste. Wow. Don't get me wrong, at the end of the day, it's a budget-friendly whiskey, but it's got some good characters going on here. A lot of rich, oaky char layers, and a bit of the Jim Beam nuttiness, and then that little bit of black tea and that little peach sweetness is showing up in here. But honestly, it's got a heavier age on here for the char than anything else. It's an oakier, yeah, wow. That was a lot oakier than I was expecting is what I was trying to say. I was coming in here going, oh, okay, so, I'm kind of expecting budget friendly and, have simple flavors to it, but it's got a good body to it. Second sip here, I'm getting a little bit more of that Jim Beam nuttiness. Kind of reminds me more like peanuts or like peanut shells if I wanted to put it kind of into a path. But you get a lot of orchard sweet notes. You get that little bit of spice in there as well from like maybe a light bit of rye character. We don't know a mash bill on this one. And then the char, the oak, the vanilla, the caramel showing up. The caramel is like a darker caramel, and the vanilla is very simple and light. Like it's not very complex in that note, but that's unoffensive, right up home plate. And I really like that. Honestly, it's not going to knock your socks off or put you on a big excursion down flavor profiles. But that's a really solid daily drinker if you ever wanted one. It's really nice. Third sip here, just as friendly. There's really no ABV on the taste. You're getting that nice oaky chariness and a little bit of sweetness in there. I really like that. All right, let's add a little drop of water, see if anything changes up here. Under most circumstances, I'm not expecting much, but it might help us find out if we can maybe add use that as a cocktail mixer, or maybe it just helps us find some additional notes, which is always a possibility. All right, let's go for notes on the water version. Very similar. It dials it back probably about 20 to 30%, but it doesn't go harsh, no ABV, nothing off. Getting a little bit of that charriness still, and a little bit of the Jim Beam nuttiness. That tea has kind of been buried. Same thing with the peach notes. Very soft in that, but nothing offensive. As soon as you go back here, that's a really solid nose. It's really just a great Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. If you love Jim Beam's profile, wow, you guys are in for a treat. I like that. All right, let's go for taste on the water version. Taste mimics the nose pretty closely. I would say, if anything, it gets a little bitter on the back end, right near the finish, but you're still getting a little bit of charriness, a little bit of oakiness. That peach and the tea notes that I was finding are kind of been washed out, but even the little bit of peanutty is kind of gone too for me. You get a little bit more dusty corn notes on that now. Let's go back to the neat version. Even more nuttiness, more charriness on that. That's a really solid sip. Honestly, though, that's not half bad. So if you're a person who likes to throw this on ice and enjoy it that way, I don't think you have a problem with it. Because as always, it doesn't matter what you drink or how you drink it, as long as you enjoy it. So let's talk about market price, because we all know market price is market price, and it's always going to vary. The going rate on this here in Indiana, I can pick this up at Total Wine for $23.99. And to be honest, that's not a bad price at all for this. Looking online even, it tends to be floating right at that $25 price point, but it is still kind of trickling out. And again, I don't think I've seen any official press releases saying that this is replacing the Jim Beam Black Label. I'm going to call it Black Label because it's a Black Label. But either way, if this is a shelf-stable bottle for sub $25, bringing across these simple flavors and an age statement, how can I argue with that? In today's market, grab this. It's going to do good for mixers. It's going to be good for if you're an intro to whiskey person, or again, if you're just looking for a nice solid daily drink. For sub $25, I can't argue with it at all. Big thumbs up on this release. So yeah, there you have it, folks. Jim Beam Black, aged 7 years. If you have any questions about the bottle itself, let me know down in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer it. And if you have any specific spirits I should go looking for, also let me know down below. Love doing these reviews and sharing with you the experience at home. And as always, may your last drink of the night be the best one.
You know, and I really like it might